Hey guys, today I'm just going to talk to you about subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. And we're going to just break it down so that way we can understand where and why and how we're actually able to regroup. So, all a fraction is a part of a whole. So if I have, if I have one whole, I can actually break this down into a fraction. Let's say that this whole was broken into 3 equal pieces. I'd have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, which actually would give me 3/3. And we know that when a numerator and a denominator are the same number and they're equal, that will always equal 1. Okay, so that's where that comes from. Any number can actually be broken down into a fraction as long as it has, it's broken into equal pieces. Let me give you another example. Let's say that we did the number 5. Okay. If we figure out how many 1s are in 5, we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay. Now let's say that each one of these 1s is broken down into equal parts, and we know that the numerator and the denominator would be the same to create 1. Let's say that there are 3 equal parts again. This one would actually look like this. This is a little bit. If I break this one down, it's going to look the same. And I'm going to break this one down. Okay? So ultimately, this will still give us 5. Because 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 is actually 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 5. We're going to do one more, because once we get this down, we can understand where and why we're regrouping. Okay, so let's say we had the number 6. Okay, if we were to break this 6 down into 1s, it would be 1 plus 1 plus 1. I think you guys get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 6 1s. I can break each one of these 1s into a fraction. Let's say that each one each whole was broken into 2 pieces. Okay, so to create a whole and I had 2 pieces, I would need 2 over 2. Which will give us still the same whole number, which would be 6. Okay, so all I did was I broke down my 6 into 1s, and then I broke each one into a fraction. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I still have my same whole number, 6. So now that we got that down, we can break it down a little further. Let's say that I had a whole number in a part of a whole number, which is actually a mixed number, and it will look something like this. Okay, so I have my whole number, and then I have my part of a whole. I have 1/3 of another whole. Okay, so if I were to break this number up, if I were to break this number 4 into 1s, it would look something like this. 1 plus 1. You know what? Let me move this down a little bit. So let's just say I had 4 and 1/3. Okay, now if I'm going to break my whole number 4 into 1s, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And then I still have my 1/3 here. Okay, now I'm going to break each of these 1s into a fraction, just like we were doing before. Now I can look here at my denominator and I see that these wholes are being broken into equal pieces of 3. So this would be 3 thirds, 3 thirds, 3 thirds, and 3 thirds. So I'm going to get rid of this 4 so we don't get confused, because all of this is my 4 now, right here. Okay? So now I have 3 thirds plus 3 thirds plus 3 thirds plus 3 thirds, right? So now, if I was subtracting another fraction, actually, yep. Okay, so let's say I was subtracting 1 and 2 thirds. We're actually not going to do anything with this guy here yet. So I'm going to draw a line. So that I can rewrite my work on this side nice and neat. So if I have 1 third, I cannot subtract this 1 third or this 2 thirds from a 1 third. So I'm going to have to borrow one of these guys. So I'm going to borrow a 3 thirds. I'm going to cross him out so I know I used him. I'm going to bring him over here and just do a little simple addition. 1 third plus 3 thirds is equal to 4 thirds. Okay, and I borrowed him because I can't subtract 2 thirds from 1 thirds. So I borrowed a 1 from right here. Okay, so let's look back up at the top, and let's see how many holes we have left. We have 1, 2, 3 holes left. So I'm going to move these 3 holes back over here. Okay, and all I did was combine them back, all my single ones, into a whole number. So now I have 3 holes left, and my leftover fraction, which with my regrouping, would be 4 thirds. And this guy just comes right on over. Now I can actually subtract this. So if I subtract the fraction first, 4 thirds minus 2 thirds will give me 2 thirds. And I can do that because my denominators are the same, so it's just simple subtraction. And then if I subtract my whole numbers, I already borrowed, so I don't have to worry about getting confused. That's why I moved it on over here. It would be 3 minus 1 equals 2. And that's that part. So we're going to try another one. All right, so we're going to do another problem. We're going to do 2 and 2/5, and we're going to subtract 1 and 3/5. Okay, so the first thing I do is I'm going to separate this top whole number into ones. So 1 plus 1 will give me 2. Now I'm going to break each of my wholes into fractions. And remember that the numerator and denominator have to be the same in order to give us 1. So we can look over here at our denominator and see that each whole is broken into 5 equal pieces. So in order to create a whole number 1, numerator and denominator would have to be the same. So 5/5 and 5/5. Okay, so we don't get confused, I'm just going to cross these guys out because we already turned them into fractions. I don't want you to think it's 1 and 5/5. So we can't subtract this 3/5 from 2/5 because our 3/5 is larger than 2/5. I mean the numerator. So we're going to have to borrow one of these fractions from the top. So we're going to borrow this guy. I'm going to cross him out so we don't forget, and I'm going to bring him over here. Okay, and now I'm just going to do a little simple addition. So 2/5 plus 5/5. actually equals 7/5. So if I'm going to So this will give me 7/5. I'm going to rewrite this over here so it's nice and neat. So first I'm going to bring my new part of the fraction over. And then I'm going to look at how many holes I have left. I have one hole left that I didn't use. And this guy just comes on over. Okay, so now I can subtract because my top mix fraction, my top mix number, is the numerator is larger than this numerator here. So 7/5 minus 3/5 is equal to 4/5, and 1 minus 1 would actually cancel out. So your final answer would be 4/5. So I hope that that helps break it down for you guys. Sorry, it's a little messy. I'm in Paint, using Paint application. I have to find a better one for now. But I was hoping that this would be helpful for you guys if you're working with subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. So thanks a lot for checking it out.